Guys, it's Dan with Viper Scale Racing. We have some test and tune today. So unfortunately, this guy's cars didn't make it for our SCDRL Spring Nationals, which we ran last week. The cars showed up this Monday, and we asked the customer, do you want us to return the cars to you? Do you want them to keep them here? And also, do you want us to do a test and tune so that you know how the cars run? So he did request that we do a test and tune. So we have 4 cars here. We're going to run a couple passes in each lane. We'll probably do 4 passes on each car, just to, good, decent number data for him. We'll let him know kind of what the cars ran, and then he can decide if he wants us to ship them back to him, because there is plenty of time before the next race, which is likely going to be early summer. So we're going to go ahead and pop these out, and I'll just kind of do like a quick car review as I pull these out. So pretty slick car. Love the Trans Am type bodies. I think this is a Mustang. It looks like a fastback to me. But yeah, Mustang taillights, duh. So digging in, let's get my glasses here so that I can dig in a little bit more. But this is a Viper chassis. Definitely has level 10 tractions. As far as the arm goes, it looks like a BSRT arm, but I don't see any marking on it. So it's possible it's something else. Maybe it's not a BSRT arm. It might be a Viper arm. It doesn't have marking, so I'm not 100% sure. But high downforce motor mags, has the first generation Viper Inbel. I can see that it is in max timing, and it actually looks like it's beyond max. So see how much is sticking out there on the bottom? So that's probably going to actually slow the car down, because you can see there is wear on the magnets from the track rail, and the fact that that is below flush means that that is also going to be hitting the track. So not ideal. Let's throw it on a setup block here real quick and just see. Yeah, I almost can't even see any daylight under the car, so it's already pretty low. But we'll run it, and I might make an adjustment on it when we're out there to just see if that makes a difference. So but on a road course, you absolutely would not want that to be like that. That would kill your handling. So that's car number 1. Next up, pretty slick little truck. So pretty cool little pickup truck. GMC. So once again, Viper chassis, sponge tires, mystery arm. So who knows if it's a 2.5 ohm or looks like a 36 gauge wire, but pretty much the same as the other car. So I would expect these two to run very similar. Pretty slick. And this car I like a lot. This is a cool little truck body. Short wheelbase, called Bad Mood, a gasser. Resin body. This is a Jag chassis. I believe this is the TR3. So, yeah, they're pretty notorious for wheeling out of the slot. But this one actually, it feels pretty good. We'll see what happens on it. I'm not sure what arms those run stock, but I think there is a 3.5 ohm version also. So we'll see how it runs. Pretty cool stuff. So next up, and I'm not sure what classes he entered these in, but this is Mad Max. I think this is a Joe Levan body. Looks like his work. And this is going to be probably a Pro Index car or Top Fuel car. So has Neo Mags. Looks like it's a Rondo wind 4 foot of 33. So 4 foot of 33 is under 1 ohm. So pretty cool. That should be pretty fast. So we will run these things. we'll probably run them each, and then I will take out my oiler and my pickup shoe cleaner. I always shake up my oiler because we use a Teflon oil, and sometimes it separates, so I like to keep that stuff all together. But we'll go out to the track, clean these tires because they are not clean. You can see how dirty those are. Not ideal for going fast, not ideal for being consistent, not ideal for slot cars. So let's head out to the track, see what happens. We have the cars ready to go. First up, we are going to do the Mustang. So I'm going to clean the tires real quick. Hopefully, because this does have sponge tires, I have actually seen the entire sponge come off. And hopefully that doesn't happen, because guys don't like having that happen on their sponge tires. But if they're that old and with enough power, it'll happen anyways. But we are going to run this thing. Definitely, this car could definitely use some tuning, but we're going to run it and get some baseline here. So let's see. Here we go. We are staged. And we will make a lick. Here we go. All right. 397, 81 mile an hour. So most likely is a 35 gauge, 1.5 ohm. I'll go ahead and write that up here, what it ran. So, okay. So we'll make a pass in the left lane. Let's see what happens. See what happens. Okay. So 407, 78. So it definitely fell off right there. John's out here checking stuff out. I was just telling Sam, I'm surprised from all the SCDRL videos that everybody wasn't like, where the heck's John?
Yeah.
It was just the two of us running them. But
I was in a couple.
he did a cameo, Sam said. So
Yeah.
What was I eating?
Your rotisserie chicken,
I was
right?
eating rotisserie chicken.
all right, so that's our two passes. We'll do two more, but we'll run through all the cars. That way we're not running them two back to back, because we typically don't do that until we get deeper into the finals. But that's a pretty good difference, 397 to a 407. So we will start just kind of working our way through. So next up is going to be the truck. And the truck looks like a very similar setup. It's staged. We will make a rip. Okay. So the truck goes 436. Oh wait, 432. So point 432 at 75.76. Okay, and I drop the eraser. So that was right lane. We're on left lane. That thing stages way easier. So let's see what pass number 2 gets us. Okay, looked pretty good. Sounded about the same. Ran 424 at 77.13. Okay, so not too shabby. Next up, going to be the TR3 hard body. We will clean the tires on these things. Something to mention too, guys, when you're testing, if you're testing and you're running dirty tires on a dirty track, don't do that if you're going to send us cars, okay? Because our track is so smooth and so clean, and when we clean the tires, a lot of times the cars will wheelie out of the hole because they're so stuck, okay? But that's a constant, consistent thing that we do with our racing, clean tires, clean track every single time. So if your car runs better when the tires are dirty, that's you. That's at your place. That's when you race. That's whatever you do. But if you want to get the most out of sending your cars to SCDRL to run them, absolutely make sure you're testing them clean and consistent as possible, because we don't want you to send a car here, be expecting it to run good, and then have it wheelie out of the slot. Like, that's annoying. I don't want that to happen to you guys. So that's how you prevent it. All right. Little truck ran pretty good. So 680 at 45. Okay, so that was right lane. And this is left lane. About the same-ish. 671 at 46.57. Okay, so not too shabby. Next up is going to be Mad Max. So I suspect this car to be a top fuel car, but it could also be a Pro Index car. I'm going to have to get some clean, stickier stuff here, because this thing's got some pretty roach tires.
Look at that.
Brand new. You can see there's still dirt coming off of them. I mean, they should never get to a point where they get so dirty that continuously running this over them won't pull stuff off. Like, come on, guys. Give your cars better hygiene. Okay, let's see here. I don't want this thing. Also is not wanting to stage, which we'll try this lane. Nope. So I'm going to have to put a sticker in there. I'm going to pause and go grab a little label. I'll show you guys too, if you missed that in one of the races, what to do, or what we do if that happens. So I'll be right back.
So while he's doing that, just like in the SCDRL video, you can see the body just isn't painted enough, just because it doesn't have enough of a backing paint. It looks cool all translucent and stuff, but the infrared light from under there, if it'll show, no it won't. It gets through the body. So that's why we have to put a little label in there.
All right, guys, so when cars won't stage, usually it's just not a super big deal. It's either metallic base coat, which shines on the sensor, or it's just really thin paint. And a lot of times it won't stage until the car gets so far forward that the car covers up the lights. But what'll happen on that is it'll red light the car, which if you watch our racing, we've never had a red light to this day. Okay.
Rock on drywall.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pop this thing off. Our sensors are on the left side, so we're gonna go ahead and put our, I usually just take a little, this is a label, a product label, but it is adhesive. I cut it, and I usually will just stick it inside the front of the body, like so. Let's actually go like this. It's not too adhesive to where it's gonna like pull the paint off the body. Like, it'll come right out if the customer decides, hey, I don't like that, or hey, you know, that's only a problem on your track. It's fine, but this is what we do. So if you do have a car that you think that might be a problem, you can do that beforehand. Otherwise, if you send it to us, you know, during the race, we do it. Like, we'll take care of you guys. So let's try this again. And we're
Nice
staged
and easy.
immediately. So problem solved, works every time. Let's run this guy, see what happens. All right, great run.
Put
Sounded
this
good. So
just-
337. 337 at 103.94. So, good pass. And we will run it again on the left side. Okay, good run. Ran a 328 that time at 106.53. So, pretty good rip. Not bad. Definitely, I mean, I'm guessing he would run this in top fuel, which that's going to be a little bit soft for top fuel nowadays. But if he ran it in Pro Index, that'd be running on a 300 index. So it's pretty much right in the middle of that one. But just looking at it, he does have the timing retarded on this one. And pickup shoes have a little bit of markings on them. Actually looks like he has maybe two different shoes on there. One might be a standard and one might be a low pro, just by looking at how much the end of the shoe hangs out. Or it could be in the hangers. I don't know. I mean, but we'll get back to that one. We are going to run back up front to the first car that ran. So this thing, I'm going to go ahead and make changes now. I mean, we could run them through again, but we have a baseline. We're going to go ahead and make some changes. So I'm going to gently pull the body off, and we are going to clean the shoes. So you can see like black markings on the shoes. Not ideal. You want those to be, those are like pitting. Sometimes they come off, sometimes they don't. I mean, they're still there. Not ideal. These are pretty hard shoes. These look like the RPM shoes. So they're nice and thick. So there's lots of life left in them, but also having a hard time getting some of that black off of there. But okay, we got that done. I'm gonna oil them real quick. You would assume that this stuff would be oiled already, but I can see that the car is pretty dry. Also too, the timing, I'm gonna just put that back just a smidge so that it's below, or it's up inside of the chassis. We're gonna oil all contact points. This is another one where the front tires have so much like stuff caked up on them that they are like, I don't even know if they could be clean. But something else too that I've noticed on this one is that it's very, very, very tight on the gear mesh. Not necessarily the gear mesh, but just the rear axle float. There's almost no side to side, which not really ideal. And if you look inside of here on the T-Boss, you can see a little bit of wear in there. And that's most likely it's wearing itself into making clearance, which not super ideal. But, you know, I don't want you to think I'm like bagging on your cars. I'm just sharing tech tips on how to make the car not only faster, but it's going to make it more consistent and just overall happier. So let's see if we can clean these front tires.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's just who knows how long of stuff coming off of those. But you can see this one's, you know, nice and black. This side still is shiny with gunk. That stuff, a lot of times that is what you're hearing when the car sounds loud going down the track. You're actually hearing the front tires. You're hearing gunk on the front tires. So all we did on this one was oil it, properly clean the front tires, dust the pickup shoes, and I made a small timing adjustment. So let's see what that yields for us. We ran a 397 and a 407 earlier, so let's see what we got. Okay. So we ran a 390 with a 7. 390 with a 7, and we ran 83.97 mile an hour. So picked up almost 3 mile an hour and pretty much a 100th, which is pretty good. So we'll run that in the left lane now. Okay, and I will see what we got there. Okay, 388 with a 1. So 388 at same mile an hour. So big difference between here and here. Okay, we had a little bit of time pickup, but the mile an hour stayed about the same. So this was right lane, left lane, left lane. So I'm pretty happy with that. Ideally, you would want that thing to be slowed down to running like 4.0s if it was going to run in Pro Index, because it either needs to run 350s or 4 flats. So we'll talk with the owner of that one and we'll see if he wants us to try to slow it down. A couple things we could do to slow it down. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't know what he wants us to do. So we just made it consistent. Okay, even if it slowed it down and we made it consistent, I'd still be happy, because in our type of racing, consistency is key. Okay, which is why we've eliminated the human factor from reacting to the car, or the reaction time, which if we were doing in-person racing, we absolutely would be running controllers, which is why we still have the controllers hookups here. So let's jump into the blue car. Okay, we're gonna pretty much do same stuff. This one, if you look at the pickup shoes, like it's just not good. Like it's if a shoe gets bent like that, guys, it's pretty much dead. Super critical to make sure that the shoes stay as close to being stock like dimensions and stock everything as possible. And if they get tweaked or jacked up like that, I mean, unless you're on a super strict budget or you just don't have any extra shoes, you know, that would be the only time I'd say that's somewhat acceptable. But this car, real quick, so the magnet clip is on backwards. So magnet clip is supposed to go forward to cover the magnets. So we're definitely going to fix that. I'm going to put some oil down in here. So let's pop the rear end out. I'm not sure how that happens, especially when you have other cars that are the same make, but that's not correct, guys. So we're gonna spin this guy around. Okay, good, done deal. Something to notice on that pinion gear is the tip of the pinion gear is very, very unhappy. That's not ideal for gear mesh. You can see how much mesh we have there, more there, tighter there. Something else too that I just noticed, look at these flat
Yeah,
spots.
you can see them on the camera.
So flat spots on tires, guys, that's from having your car sit on a track section, or usually that's not from just having them sit like this, because they really don't weigh that much and most of the weight is on the nose touching the guide pin, but that definitely is not ideal. So but once again, if that's all that you got and that's how they were, and it's, you know, that's totally fine. I'm just telling you guys how to make a better, more consistent car just based on what I'm seeing here. So quick recap, we cleaned the shoes, flipped the magnet clip, oiled her up, I do need to oil up the rear end because I didn't do that yet, but we'll do that real quick. Made sure the front tires were clean, and hopefully this thing picks up pretty good. So I am going to put quite a bit of oil on the gears. Some of the gear too, you can see the teeth are just barely hanging on. Like those are fine. Right in there it gets really bad, so just be careful with that kind of stuff, guys. And I'll make sure to keep an eye on this thing, and if it spins real hard or if it ends up burning through the gear, I'll have to grab the car off the track because it's going to be running at 18 volts. But here we go. Okay, so we ran a 417. Oops, sorry. We ran a 417 at 78.19. So big pickup. The key is this next pass. Consistency, okay? And this would run in Pro Index or Top Eliminator in the 400 bracket. So 417, that's really, really good. Okay, 419 that time. So 419 at 78.55. Okay, so same consensus. We had 200 or 2000s on ET. Mile an hour was dead on this one. Mile an hour here, we're talking a couple tenths of a mile an hour compared to earlier. Okay, we didn't spend any money on the cars. We didn't do any of that. We literally brushed the teeth, combed the hair. You know, what is it, a 3S, shit, shower and a shave? That's what we did. So let's keep it moving. Jump into the next one. This is the TR3. So this looks like pretty much a brand new car. I'm not going to pull the body off because it has screws. And who knows what condition the posts are in, but we are going to clean the shoes. Oiling this one also is going to be a little bit of a chore because I can only get to the rear bushing. We are going to oil this up. Oh, I can get to the front bushing. Look at that, through this hole right here, guys. So awesome that Jag put that hole there. Thanks, Jim, for doing that. And the front wheels, we're just going to get a little bit of oil down in there. So it looks like it has an independent front end on it. Typically on a brush barrel car too, I would put some Voodoo on it, but like I said, this one's pretty new. So it ran 680 and a 671, so it was already pretty consistent. Let's do a quick little tire clean. Look pretty good. This will be right lane first pass. Let's see what we got. Okay, so 672 first pass. 672 at 4670. Okay, so pretty close to being right there. First pass was almost the same as the last one. Mile an hour, almost identical. So pretty cool. There wasn't a lot to gain on this one, but we're still doing the test. Let's see what the second pass yields. Okay, so 666 at 4722. So picked it up. That one's within 6 thousandths. Pretty happy with that. You happy with that, Sam?
Oh, yes.
Okay, sweet. So next up is going to be Mad Max car. If you guys have questions about any of this, or if you have theories on what and why, let us know. I do know that if the car was to come all the way up to operating temperature, which is kind of operating temperature for a drag car is different than operating temperature for a road course car. But we try to test these similar to how we would be running them in the race. We usually don't go back to back to back to back. The first qualifier, usually there's 9 minutes in between running the first and second one, and then another 9 minutes before, or actually about 5 minutes for next round. So the car kind of never really gets up to an operating temperature. Even if we ran this thing, 10 passes in a row, it probably still wouldn't be at an operating temperature unless the gear mesh or something like that was really, really super tight. So pretty happy with that one. But like I said, if you have questions, make sure you ask, or if you have theories, or if we're missing something, feel free to let us know. So a couple things on this car right off the bat. You can see this motor magnet is not seated properly. So I'm going to just use my thumbnail, pull that over, and actually the timing bracket is installed backwards. So that, how did that even get in there? Maybe it's not installed backwards. I don't know what's up with that thing. It looks like it's just massively tweaked. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It looks really tweaked to me. Not sure why, but that's not ideal. So one thing on this one, the timing is fully retarded. We're going to go advanced just so we get max speed out of it. That alone will make a huge difference. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it drop, into like the teens right off the get-go. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to do pickup shoe cleaning. Okay. That looks good. We're going to oil this baby. In-bell, front axle. This looks like it has narrowed independent front rims, and they're really, really wobbly, which that I'm not sure. That looks like maybe the bore got drilled out on them. I can promise you guys that having it be wobbly like that is not going to be as fast as it would be if it was nice and precision the way that they're manufactured, but everybody has their own little way of doing stuff. Okay, so make sure our gear gets nice and oiled up. Sam did point out that the tires, if you look at this one, pretty wobbly. Definitely needs to be pushed over harder on install, but it also could be a bent axle, which a lot of things going on with this one. We're just going to run it and see what the in-bell change, pickup shoe cleaning, and a little bit of oil, what difference that makes. Okay, so tires are cleaned. Car will stage perfectly because we did our little mod. Here we go. Okay, so that did look better. Runs a 313 at 110.68. So big improvement. Let's see if we can do it again. So if that was running in Pro Index, that'd be really, really respectable. So good time. Top fuel, it still probably could go a couple rounds, but you really need to be in the 2s to run top fuel. So here we go. All right, so 308, that pass. 308 at 109.97. Make that 8 a little bit more clear. So, pretty good. We will let this customer know about the cars. All the data, like I said, we 3S these things. All the data is good. I would say that for a lot of these cars, especially the second and the fourth, the time differences, that's a big difference in how many rounds you would be going. So going from 430s, 420s to teens, and going from basically the same thing, 30s, 20s to teens and O's, you're going to go a lot more rounds. Cost $0 to do that. What we did in this video, you guys can replicate every single time on all of your cars before you send them to us. So super easy to do. I think there's still a little bit more left in this one. And the gears on this car, I mean, you could change the gear. I mean, the gear looks, I would be more worried about reliability than trying to speed it up or slow it down. But putting a new gear on that one could get that car into the O's just because the mesh is going to be cleaner and it'll be a lot more consistent from a reliability standpoint. So one last thing too, I wanted to shout out real quick. So built this van. You guys saw us do a pit kit video. I took that same car and pretty much modded it out. Put a wheelie bar on it, one of the Viper's wheelie bar setups. Put some new rears that we just came out with on here. So this is a 500 rear, big old huge tire, and then some skinny fronts. Has a sub 6 ohm arm, pickup shoe, springs, guide pin, all that stuff. So this thing was running like over a second before. This will be available for in our live sale that we're going to probably be doing next week. So check that out. But we're going to give this guy a quick pass. Let's see what it runs. So 739. So it's pretty dang fast for a 4-gear. Probably will do some more detail on the body, but just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. It's a pretty neat looking rig. You know, I mean, look at how it sits on the track. From the back, it looks cool. It's got some big old meats on it. Wheelie bar. A lot of people wouldn't expect it to rip like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have comments, questions, whatever, let us know. We'll see you on the next one.